Who on top?
And welcome back to episode 40 of Who's on Top. It's kind of crazy that we made it to episode 40, but we did. Today we have a little menage a trois going on for you, a little threesome. It's going to be me and two members of the Phi Slam with Jeremy House. Guess who? No, it is not the namesake. It is the wonderful Russian machine, Ellis Gordon.
What's up, guys?
And our favorite bandwagon Bucs fan, Daniel Fox.
I'm going to just lead into it right now because that's what I have to be today.
It's a Bucs episode.
It's a Bucs.
It's
Everybody
definitely a
jump
Bucs
on the cruise
episode.
ship.
We have a pretty good episode planned for you guys. Hall of Fame, Buzzsprout, ads, Bucs, Champions Leagues, poetry, obituaries, and so much more. So let's get to the meat of our podcast. This is a pretty contentious subject. A lot of ammo being fired at each other. This has not been pretty. This has been quite the fight. Are the Bucs Super Bowl contenders? This discussion has been echoing through the halls of our group chats. A lot of angry faces, a lot of angry memes sent to one another. So I'm going to let Daniel, the bandwagon Bucs fan, make his case here. Daniel, make your case.
Oh, I didn't think I was going to get the start, but I like the chance to get the early edge. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last week in our Adam. Was that last week?
Yeah.
Time flies when you're living with a loser. Okay.
I literally said, wait, just real quick. I said, Dan, I dare you to go through this argument without calling me a loser and stupid.
No, you did. All right, fine. Now I will.
I did. He said, okay.
Okay.
You literally failed within two sentences.
Oh. So in our Adam Lefko podcast, we talked about how when we were discussing the Cardinals.
By the way, yeah, we had Adam Lefko on our show. It's pretty impressive. Go check it out.
So he said that he could rule the Cardinals out, even though they're a deeply flawed team, because of the weakness of the NFC. And are the Buccaneers a perfect team? No, they're not a perfect team. And we'll start. I know you're going to bring up the secondary and how bad they've been. And they got exposed the last 2 weeks. Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes. They average, I believe, over 400 yards. But I feel like if you're going to have one position group that struggles, or it's not necessarily a strength, but can come up and get turnovers, I could live with a struggling, inexperienced secondary if there is a pass rush. Now, the pass rush has not been there the last few games. The run defense is there. The run defense is elite.
Yes.
Every game.
Best run defense in the league.
Best run defense in the league. So it comes down to coaching, okay? Because teams are going to have to pass. We've seen a limited effort by the Chiefs and the Rams to even try to run the ball, and they went to the passing, and they just picked them apart. Jamel Dean was out with a concussion. That kind of hurt, but Carlton Davis got absolutely destroyed by Tyreek Hill. But there's not too many Tyreek Hills in the league. So, yeah, this defense has its issues.
Daniel, just a little question.
Yeah.
How many points did Tyreek Hill put up on you guys? What was his stat line that game?
It was like 11 reception for 260, 12 receptions for 260.
3 touchdowns.
So
that's like a quarterback's throwing stats.
Yeah, I know. I don't know
One
why.
receiver.
Because I don't know why Carlton Davis was on Tyreek Hill one-on-one. I mean, that's just begging for disaster. But again, there's not too many Tyreek Hills in the league. So the Buccaneers are 7-5 right now. I'm trying to get this back on track. They're 7-5. They have a bye. I think we don't understand how tough it is for a team to go 12 straight weeks without a bye, especially when you have a 43-year-old quarterback. So they have 4 games. They have the Vikings twice, Ori's Detroit Lions, and they have the Falcons twice, Lions, Vikings. Okay? That should be 4 wins. It should be. I know. I say should a lot, and they don't always come through for me. So they'll be, I believe they'll be 10-6, 11-5. They'll be in the playoffs. So the question comes down to then, as I said, they have their weaknesses, but can they beat any team in the NFC? And I believe the answer is yes. Now, we could talk about their struggles with the Saints, and I think that's really more of a coaching mismatch than the talent mismatch. But we saw what they did to the Green Bay Packers. They played right down to the wire against the Rams. They obviously could beat whoever comes out of the NFC East. Seahawks, I think Brady will expose that defense. Cardinals, same thing with the defense. I think the teams that scare me the team that scares me the most is, besides the Saints, is the Rams because of their interior pass rush. That's how you beat this Buccaneers offense, and we're going to get more into that. But I'm going to let Ellis get a chance to speak. Hey, y'all. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go pretty quickly through the defense since Dan did make his flaws. I mean, you need to have a relatively balanced side. As a team, you can't have no defense. Their linebacking core, stellar. Their running defense, also stellar. Their passing defense and pass rush, not just with the Pierre-Paul, Sue, they've been playing well, but not in terms of pass rush. They cannot get pressure on the quarterbacks. It doesn't matter if your run defense is good if they literally can't stop any team from throwing the ball. They have no – but let's not talk about defense. I'm going to go since Dan pretty much covered their flaws here. So I think that is a big deal when you're going up against teams with good offenses and good defenses like the Saints, like the Rams. Well, Rams, debatable good offense. But anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to two things I want to talk about. Three. That's three quick points. Signature wins. I like when looking at a real team that has a chance to win the Super Bowl, I like looking at how many signature wins do they have on the season. Reason I think the Browns are frauds, they have 0. They're 8-3 with 0 signature wins. The Bucs are 7-5 with 1 signature.
Signature wins. Do you mind explaining that to the audience?
Signature win is a win against a top team in which they're either not supposed to win or odds are pretty much split betting wise. So they have one of those. Mm-hmm. One of those. Every other game, they have either underperformed or been beat. They have one signature win that does not bode well. Now, moving on to the offense. Bruce Arians has what I call the Jose Mourinho effect, which is just a soccer coach. He does not do well in the first year with his teams. Brady is second in the league in picks, only to Carson Wentz. You cannot win a team. Also, Brady, whatever little, Brady never had mobility, but he could always move up in the pocket. I honestly think that's fully gone, as it should be. He's 43. At the moment he hits Brady was never amazing with pressure. Obviously, he's the GOAT. He could handle it. The moment now he gets hit with pressure, he crumbles. And, Dan is right. There has to be some take on Bruce Arians because they're not molding right now together. But this is a Bruce Arians. This is a Bruce Arians. This is a Brady problem. On top of that, Dan mentioned they need running backs to catch the ball. They don't have that. They don't have running backs that can run or catch the ball. Ronald Jones will give you one good run here or there. But other than that, he is inconsistent at best. Leonard Fournette is the running back embodiment of a McDonald's McBurger. So they can't win. They're not going to beat the Chiefs and Steelers because they're bringing good pass rush. And moving on to the NFC, this new Seahawks defense and the Saints team and this Packers team, I think, have them beat, even though they didn't beat the Packers.
Okay, so now let's transition. I'll respond to that offense. And I think a lot of the points you made were actually fair. And I do think that 43-year-old Tom Brady is less willing to take the hit than 33-year-old
As he should be.
So the past couple of weeks, when we talk about the slow starts, all right, they're down 17-0 to the Chiefs. They actually got off to a pretty good start against the Rams, but in the Saints game, Giants, they got off to a slow start. There's a couple of things. One, when they lose, they have no running game. And you think they don't win the game. They have poor running. When they win the game, they have better running. But it's night and day. You have Ronald Jones rushing for 200 yards and a win against the Panthers. Nothing against the Saints. Nothing against the Rams. Nothing against the Chiefs. There's no balance. And all of that is because they're running behind so early. But there's no balance in games they need to win. Number two, the offensive line has been shuffling around. There's been injuries. Not yesterday, but against the Chiefs, it looked a little bit better because Donovan Smith was back there and now, and they got some of the pieces back. And that's key. You need to give Brady time. Now, I think a lot of it, obviously they have the pieces there, and I don't think you would argue that Tom Brady doesn't have the arm to compete to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You would not argue that. No, he would not argue that. But it comes down to scheme. All right. He's got to get the ball out quicker. And I know it's a vertical offense. I know Mike Evans is one of the best deep ball catchers in the league. I know Antonio Brown wants to go downfield. I know Chris Godwin has the speed to beat anyone vertically. But it's got to come out quicker. Okay. And Tony Romo said something about in this game, against the Chiefs game, it's just everything's still, right? What you got to do with Tom Brady, not that I'm some sort of offensive genius, but what I've seen work in New England in his prime years was just have him play back, read the defense, get guys in motion, understand what the defense is running. But when you put him under center and have him drop back, he just can't read it the same way. So this is an important week, right? It's a bye week. Arians and Brady have to get together and be like, look, I have an idea of what I want to do. You have an idea of what you want to do. And you could mix it in.
Yeah, you
like you saw at the end of last game, which I thought was, some of the best. I know you're going to say, the Chiefs gave up or they weren't, trying. But it was getting the ball out quick. It was diagnosing blitzes and, checking it down. But also some down the field stuff to Godwin and Evans. That's what you need. It can't be all one or all the other. It's got to be a mix and you got to mix in Ronald Jones. You got to mix in Leonard Fournette. More play action. There is no play. It's hard when you don't have a running game and Ronald Jones is rushing for like 10 yards a game. But you got to get Ronald Jones involved early, and then you can set up the play action. Those crossing routes to Gronk. The main thing I feel like when I watch this Bucs offense is that there's things there. There are pieces there. There are plays out there to be made, and either the throws aren't getting there or the pressure's getting there too fast. Pressure's a big thing with some of these interceptions, I'd like to say, even though a lot of them are Brady's fault. But they just got to find a way to make these plays that are out there.
Yeah, okay.
So let me put my analyst hat on for a second. I know I don't do this often, but I feel like since it's just us three, I should hop in for a little.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you need balance, but you need an identity. I think the Bucs are missing that identity right now. And that might be in part for what Adam said last week, and that super teams rarely work out in the first year they're formed. But I think that it's super important to take a look around at your competition and sometimes emulate them. You don't always have to make your own way. The Chiefs figured it out. They have weapons and offense all over the place. But what the Chiefs have is also a turnover-creating defense. The Bucs do not have that. They need that. They need a good passing defense that gets turnovers. And they're lacking that. They're lacking that this season. And I think that if they just take a look at their rivals across in the AFC that they just played last week, what went wrong, what went right, try to see what happened with the Chiefs. And I think that if you look at the Chiefs, that's fine because they can't emulate the Steelers. They don't have the defense for that. But they can emulate the Chiefs, and I think they should.
Yeah, I think to wrap up this segment, or maybe Dan.
I got some more points.
Okay.
We're still going.
Well, wrap up my points at least. So I think my big problem is this bye week is very important, as Dan says, for two reasons. One, Bruce Arians' first-year squad and super teams usually don't win the first year, and I think that's going to hold true. Bruce Arians, the farthest he ever goes is his second year. Those are his best teams. Two, the Bucs have all the pieces to have everything right. Their pass defense, their pass rush, their running game needs their running catching. They need to get at least their offensive line a few things right for them to win and make the Super Bowl and beat the Chiefs, beat the Steelers. They need a lot of things to go right. Can it happen because the talent's there? Yes. Has anything shown me it'll happen so far 12 weeks into the season? No, and that's why I don't think they'll win the Super Bowl this year.
Wait. I don't understand. We've seen what the Bucs can be. We've seen them play
the Packers.
They've scored 45 points on the Panthers and the Raiders. I know it's Panthers and the Raiders. But no other team I don't think has scored over 45 points twice. We've seen them absolutely demolish the Packers. We know what it looks like when it all goes right. When it doesn't go right, it's silly penalties. They have, I think, 4.
But Dan, it doesn't go right. It doesn't go right against good teams.
The Packers.
Minus the Packers.
Okay, but we know what it could be. It's not like they can't play like that.
But they haven't except for one game.
But they can play like that. We know
it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Well,
let's take that one signature game away because a good team might only have one good signature game and win the rest against bad teams and lose against good teams closely. That's what I think Dan is saying. Like, yes, they did beat the Packers, and that should count for something.
Okay, but I know you are. I know you can't. It's hard. You can't say this, but if you just take away those Saints games, all right, and say the Saints have their number, they better hope they don't play the Saints again. And now they're going to play either a Breezeless Saints team or a limited Drew Brees. But if you just take the 3 other losses have been by 3 points, 3 points, and 1 point against the Rams, the Chiefs, and against the Bears team on the road without Chris Godwin, without Scotty Miller, in a game they really just they threw away with penalties. So if they clean up the penalties, that's number 1. Okay, that kills you. that kills you as a team. When it's 3rd and 4 and you have a neutral zone infraction, that kills you. Or you get off the field and it's a late hit on the quarterback, like that kills the team, not just from a football standpoint, but from a mental standpoint. Protection's got to be better. That's the number 2 thing. We could talk about the secondary all they want, but we know the Bucs are going to have to win games in shootouts, most likely, because they're going to be playing either Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. So the other team's going to get theirs, and the Bucs. What's really hurt them more than just their defense struggling has been these first quarters where they do absolutely nothing, and they let the other team jump out ahead, and then there goes the running game. And what happens in those first quarters? It's either they just can't get in a rhythm. It's short passing, or it's just the pass rush is just disrupting Brady. They can't get in a rhythm. And once Brady gets in a rhythm, he's still a top 5 quarterback. If you keep him comfortable, he is a top 5 quarterback. But as Ellis says, the pressure gets them there, he's going to struggle. And I'm with you. The secondary needs to be better. There's so many blown coverages I can't even count. But the other 2 phases of the defense, the linebacking core and the front 4, are really, really good. And the safeties are pretty good. Whitfield and Whitner.
I have a question. I'm sorry to cut you off. If I give you, because I'm curious, if I give you this game right now in our predictions, which obviously it's not, and I give you Seahawks, Bucs, wild card game. I don't think that's even a possibility, but I give it to you, right?
It is.
It is actually. Whatever. I give it. Let's say it happens, and I give it to you. Do you have the Bucs? Are you picking the Bucs to win that game? Because I think I'd strongly pick the Seahawks.
Well, okay, I wouldn't say strongly. You feel strongly about the Seahawks.
I don't feel. Right, maybe that's a cap because Brady, but other than Brady, because being clutch,
no, it's not even about Brady. It's about their defense and really having.
Defense has played 3 good ones.
I mean, what I worry about is beating them over the top, because if they put Carlton Davis on DK Metcalf, it's not going to be pretty. But how could you say the Seahawks? What are the Seahawks' signature win? It's been the Cardinals on Thursday night after an emotional win that the Cardinals had.
Yeah, I'll look up Seahawks. I don't know.
So we can
the Cardinals, but like
they lost to the Bills. The Seahawks have not played well against a good offense.
That's fair.
So it's as I like to say, it's kettle.
It might be a little kettle, but but in fairness, I also didn't say the Seahawks.
So before we move on, because we have another time, we have some time, because this is our only main point. But if we're just going to go through the teams, Saints is a whole other story. It's very possible they just have the Bucs number, or that was just a really bad game when you just threw Antonio Brown into the mix, or maybe the Bucs will make adjustments, because talent-wise, I would take the Bucs. I would take the Bucs players over the Saints players. Okay, but the Saints might have their number. Packers. And you know how I feel about Aaron Rodgers.
I'm picking the Packers team over the Bucs team this year.
But we saw what happened. I know that we could call that a fluke. We could call that just a really bad Aaron Rodgers game. But we've seen.
I have nothing to say that the Packers won't. Well, I'm not like.
Can the Bucs beat the Packers?
They can. I just don't think they will.
And then I would like the Bucs' chances against the Cardinals.
I do too, but I think the Bucs right now are the 4th best team in the NFC, and therefore I don't think they'll win.
But here's the thing: this is not the wild card round right now. We are 5 weeks away. There is nothing. That's why it's so hard to say this team is not contenders. If they keep struggling, Brady keeps throwing picks, we keep seeing the same problems, they end the season 9-7, then we can say they're not contenders. But in my view, the talent on this team, not just on offense, not just the weapons that get all the love, but that the interior run defense and the linebacking core, I don't see how you could say in 4 weeks we're not looking at this team and say, man, they are so talented and they are peaking at just the right time, and we're not talking about them as a team that can make a Super Bowl run in a year when only one team gets a bye, and that team does not have a great quarterback.
Also, in terms of I know they're in the AFC, but they mentioned the Buccaneers can beat any team. I don't think they can beat the Chiefs, but that's a whole separate issue.
But, how could you – I don't get how you could say that.
You watch the game?
Yeah, I watched the game. I know what you're going to say.
They played one good quarter over the Chiefs. The Chiefs destroyed them for 3.
Okay, but the Chiefs –
I can't middle third.
I know you can't say this, but if that pass doesn't get deflected and go up in the air and right to the Chiefs' arm – they kick a field goal. We're talking about a tie game right here.
And you know what?
We're talking about
then Mahomes.
But how could you say it? I don't get how you could say that in a 3-point game.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Because
Let's
it was
move on.
a game at the end, garbage time.
I want to know what you think, Ori.
About what?
Can the Buccaneers beat the Chiefs?
No.
If the Buccaneers play like the Chiefs, they can beat the Chiefs.
But I don't.
They can't. Listen, I mean, you saw what happened that for a whole first half of the game. You know, Dan, I don't like playing this game of ifs, but if Dan wants to play this game of ifs, we can play this game of ifs. 17-0, Mahomes fumbles in the 10-yard line. I mean, that was a good fumble. But you
It's
could
not
say
a game of chance.
I mean, it wasn't his fault. I mean, he kind of just got hit, and he just how many times has Mahomes fumbled this year?
But you're saying that the Bucs can't get things. Here's basically our philosophy here. You're looking at the product you see right now. See all these flaws. But then you're telling me the Bucs can't get up?
The Bucs.
You're talking about them 4 weeks ago as one of the best, as the best team in football, or at least some people were.
The Bucs, if they play how they did against the Packers, right? The Chiefs still win.
I strongly disagree.
The Chiefs still win.
I strongly disagree.
I mean, you cannot guard the Chiefs on offense. Even with this crappy Bucs defense, you cannot guard.
Let's be more generous with the term crappy. I mean, the secondary crappy, but the
point is, I mean, the Bucs were but the Bucs pass rush. You saw what Mahomes did. I mean, you want to look at the game plan. When did the Chiefs start going back? When the Chiefs kind of just abandoned the throw. Why did they abandon the throw? Because they got super relaxed, in fairness. And the Chiefs have a tendency to do that, but I don't think they'll do that in the playoffs. And the moment they came back to the throw, first down, game over. The Bucs didn't have a chance to get the ball back.
It wasn't. I think they made one throw in that. No, they made two.
No, So I mean, this and the Chiefs defense, not great. Will get theirs on Tom Brady. Will get their sacks. Will get their interceptions in a game on Chiefs Bucs Super Bowl night in Tampa.
But we're talking about the Chiefs. This is the best team in football. So if we're comparing them, if we're arguing about whether they could beat the best team in football, then how could we not say they're contenders?
Well, we went off little trails. The point, but I don't think I don't think they're contenders. But talking about just, I mean, our argument directed towards the Chiefs. So I was making an argument towards the Chiefs.
I think if this was like an election night, right, and we were talking about we're talking about the Bucs, I would say it's too early to call.
Well,
it's too early.
But our job here is to make a call. I said myself that they can sway me the other way.
The polls indicate that they won't win this metaphor.
This is not Go ahead, Ollie.
In this metaphor, it is too early to call, but the polls heck sure do say that they won't beat the Chiefs.
That's what I'm saying, exactly. Or they won't win they won't make the Super Bowl. That's why the polls could be
Here's
wrong.
what I'm going to say to you. If you are to say the Browns are not contenders, that is a fair point because we know Baker Mayfield's limited. We know that without Odell, they really don't have, a true number one receiver. We know that their defense struggles against good offenses, and there's not a lot of pieces there besides Myles Garrett. But we know the Bucs have all the pieces. We know they have arguably the best wide receiving core in football. We know that Tom Brady's still an elite quarterback. We know that this is the best run defense in football. The pieces are there. You cannot say that in 4 weeks we're not going to be looking at this team as a contender.
Real quick, I want to make a comparison. There's a team like this. We talk about the Jaguars somehow, so I'm going to bring it back to them. They played the team like the Steelers. This is not a Jaguars comparison. The Steelers, who lost in the NFC, I don't know, the Elite Eight. For blank.
He doesn't even. You're going to listen to his opinion. You don't even know what conference people are.
No, the AFC. Sorry,
AFC.
division. The division. I'm sorry. That's a simple mistake. That's nothing to do with my opinion. Anyway, this Steelers team had all the talent in the world. I mean, they had Big Ben, Antonio Brown, Juju, and not his prime. That's funny, but rookie year where he's doing really good.
Juju was not on that team, buddy.
Yeah, he was.
No, he
That was
wasn't.
his rookie year.
No, he wasn't. He got drafted in
100% sure, rookie year. 99% sure because I could have, but it was his rookie year. I mean, this team, that defense was great. This team, other than the Patriots, they were considered neck and neck with the Patriots, but they played down to their competition, their talent, their product never, ever, ever was at, like their talent show. They had all the talent. The product was never there. And sure enough, they lost in the quarterfinals. I see this Bucs team very similar.
That Steelers team did not have this Bucs team would not allow 45 points to Blake Bortles. That's all I'll say.
Well, that was mostly a lot of that was on the defense, and the Steelers' defense was good if you remember back then.
Look, I just think we're going to get to a point. I think the turnover problem, that's the thing I'm most confident is going to go away because a lot of this stuff is just the Brady not being on the same page as receivers. And I think we're going to come out and we're going to look at a team. This is a team that is, we don't know, it's so inconsistent. They just need to get on a run. If they get on a run and start feeling good, they could beat anybody. I know they could beat everybody. Now, will they beat anybody? That's the problem. That's the question, isn't it? But to say, no, they can't beat the Packers, even though I say that the Bucs probably have the better football team.
It's a low bar to set.
Roster.
It's a low bar to set, though. I mean, I think the Cardinals can beat anybody too, and I'm not going to.
No, I think the Bucs have a good chance of beating anybody they play.
See, that's where I disagree. I think they have a chance. I don't think
they were 3-point underdogs to the Chiefs.
Yeah, and they were down 17-0 at
okay, but there's 4 quarters in a football game.
Yeah, and I believe the Chiefs will skewer them in a real game. That's not the right. I mean, the Chiefs outclassed the Bucs fully there, except for like 15 minutes in which they fell asleep and they started running.
You can't just assume people are.
I mean, you can see. I can show you the play calls. I can show you the difference in the play calls. And
yeah, they ran the ball a little bit more, but that doesn't mean they fell asleep.
Oh, and you're saying why do you think they ran the ball a little more? Because the Bucs were shutting down Tyreek Hill? No, that's not it. They ran the ball more.
They're trying to get out of there.
Because exactly. They're trying to get out of there.
They're trying to win the game.
They got a little too hype early. They thought they won the game too early. And the moment they're like, oh wait, we hadn't won this game. All right, we win like that. You're not beating the Chiefs. All right, let's move on.
All right, but this is Super Bowl. We're talking about the Super.
Yeah, but
whatever. Let's move on.
Let's move on.